Right, we should now be live, so Matt, take it away.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Apex Online Racing F1 2013 League with myself, xMattyG, and Fizzy Fan in the commentary box. Well, we've got a pretty tasty race on our hands this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you're watching from in the world. Let's say this afternoon because it's sunny skies for this qualifying session at the circuit to Spa Francorchamps, and 6 points separate the two drivers of TRL Limitless and TRL Martin. If you haven't been watching before, where have you been? But we have got just 2 rounds, this and Brazil, to find out who is going to be the Season 10 AOR F1 2013 champion. Obviously, Limitless, a man that still hasn't won a championship yet in AOR, very much wants to win this. But you've got TRL Martin, the challenger, or you could say the favourite going into this, as he is 6 points ahead and also has led the championship the entire way, Fizzy. So I'm really excited for this one. We've got 0% chance of rain for qualifying. Let's have a quick look and see what it says for the race before I hand over to you. It's 24% chance of rain. So no, that's me completely reading it wrong. 6% chance of rain. I'm so sorry, 24 degrees.
Better than 0.
6% chance of rain to Spa, still throwing that element of surprise potentially with the weather.
Right, yeah, it's gonna be a very exciting end to this championship. As you mentioned, 2 rounds to go. We're at Spa for the penultimate round. A bit of a mix-up in the calendar, of course. It's the first time ever in AOR F1 League that we're on the same track twice in a season. Basically, to sum it up very quickly, Monza and Canada were scrapped from the calendar earlier on, and the drivers kind of wanted to bring the calendar count back up to 18 races, and yeah, basically the driver vote for what track we should bring back and do a second time, and Spa won out on that one, which is why we are here. But let's before all these guys start going out and setting super fast laps, let's have a look quickly and remind ourselves of what happened last time. So it was a very action-packed race around the Circuit of the Americas, and Limitless was the man who came out on top after a great battle, which involved some weather in the end of the race as well, where especially you, Matt, thought that Martin was going to make an incredible tire call and maybe jump Limitless, but it ended up not to be that way, and Martin actually finished second. They managed to beat Evo for that second place, but Limitless has now closed. You can see here the gap to Martin, who has been leading the championship the whole way. Martin has. He must be dead as well after a very dominant first half of the season, but Limitless has now closed that gap to 6 points with 2 rounds to go. So it's literally everything to play for between those two rivals here at Spa. So, Matt.
Yes.
It's going to be important.
It's going to be a very, very important race. Put it this way, Martin can win the championship if Limitless does not finish or does not score any more than 8 points, I believe that would be, because I'm sure Martin has won more races over the course of the season. So if Limitless doesn't finish 6th or higher?
6th would be 8 points.
8 points, yeah. So if he finishes in the top 5, we go to Brazil. No, top 6, top 7. No, wait, the 6 points.
Maybe 6 points at the moment. Yeah, you can finish if you finish this 7th. Oh God, I'm all confused.
I know. It's absolutely terrible. We probably should have done this research beforehand, but oh well. It's a particularly professional stream, as you can tell. But I'm pretty sure it's 7th and above, and it goes to Brazil no matter what. And I'm pretty sure, unless Limitless has an absolutely atrocious race, we will be going to Brazil for the championship decider. However, Martin can win it if Limitless gets into trouble, which has happened in the past. And anyway, most of the guys are out on track right now on flying laps, and quite a few competitive first sector times. The first sector,
Broshek spun it.
Broshek spun it, okay, and he's the man that actually set the fastest first sector of anybody of the guys that have gone through that first sector. So unfortunate for Broshek there, but very well. The first sector usually isn't the telltale sector for who's quick, because there's only pretty much one corner and then you're down the straight. So the middle sector probably will be the most telling, as it is around a 45-second middle sector. And right now we have got Orbit Pride setting the fastest middle sector of the guys so far that have gone through the sector splits, and he may well be on course for taking provisional pole position, Fizzy.
Yep, I'm just
yeah, he has 44.7, so Orbit Pride comes over the line, a 144.724 to take provisional pole position, which I'm pretty sure is actually quite a reasonably competitive time from Orbit Pride. So it was quicker than Limitless, who I think will be going into the pits, and he does indeed. So Limitless does not finish his first outlap. And obviously, most of the sort of focus will be on the Martin and Limitless battle and how those two are doing, because 6 points separating them, 2 races to go. You'd kind of be blaming us if we didn't, but obviously we'll try and keep up with everybody else as well, as Evo comes over the line to set the second time of the session and slots into second with a 45.0.
As Jason also rounding the final corner. Jason making his return to the league after being quite a few races away with some issues. He goes P3 provisionally so far in the session with a 45.2. But yeah, I was just messing around a bit with the sound settings for the stream because I got a few complaints last week that I was too loud compared to you, Matt. Whereas now I've adjusted the sound volume setting slightly, and now people are saying I'm too silent. So I mean, let me know now, guys, if how it is, and I can adjust that further if necessary. But yeah. I assume that most people will now be heading back to the pits potentially after doing their first flying lap. There's
Leobot slotted himself into second place with a 44.9, and
bad.
Martin and Limitless both not being able to set a flying lap time on their first attempt. So maybe a little bit of nerves. I'm pretty sure there are going to be quite a few nerves, especially in the Limitless camp, where he's going to be very nervous that he may well miss out on another AOR championship, something that I don't think he ever even anticipated when he set up this league to do a season 10 in AOR. I think pretty sure, as he was the one that kind of was the driving force behind this league coming back, I'm pretty sure he felt very confident going into this that he would be champion potentially at this point.
Yeah, it's Limitless has obviously been in this league in season 5 now and has been a consistent front runner. Even though it took actually until season 7, I believe, to get his first win in the league when he famously beat Noble here at Spa, in fact, in season 7 on this game as well. But yeah, he's had so much bad luck. He obviously challenged you, as main challenger, in season 8 when you won the championship, and then season 9. Most people thought that he would win it. He was obviously very well on his way in season 9 to win it until his constant disconnections kicked in towards the end of the season, and Broshek accidentally snatched it at the end.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever heard of anything like someone accidentally winning a championship when trying to give the championship away to somebody else. Obviously, Limitless, everyone knows that he was the deserved winner last time in season 9. Broshek himself was going to give Limitless the win, and it was just his mistake. He thought that he could just cross the line in the position he was, but unfortunately there was a guy ahead of him that had a penalty, and that gave Broshek the championship. However, I think Broshek and Limitless have actually fallen out now, so I don't think Broshek feels too bad about winning that last season's championship.
I think they're back on good terms, actually, now, I've heard. It's the
really?
latest breaking news.
Breaking news between two drivers, because I know that Broshek had blocked Limitless originally. So
pretty sure it's been unblocked now, so
Okay,
it's all friendly.
Let's not get tied up into all the trials and tribulations of the drivers, as Broshek sets an absolutely stonking first sector. Fizzy, we need to get on board with him. He's in 8th place at the moment. Obviously, there's only 4 people that have set a timed lap at the moment, but Broshek is P8 on the standings. So get on board with him, as he has set a mind-boggling first sector, if I may say so, as it is over a 10.5 quicker than anybody else, a 30 flat. Sorry?
Because he just crossed the first sector space as
30.3.
Well,
so he's over 3.5 tenths slower than Broshek in that first sector alone.
Right, I will then try to find Broshek, which
P8.
Could take some time with his... Okay, P8. I'm going to go upwards then. Martin's also out on track. Yi is out on track. He was not here last week. He's out on the track now. There's so many cars that haven't set a time yet, but here we go.
Broshek has a solid middle sector as well, Fizzy. We could be looking at a new provisional pole position sitter.
We have to remember that in the race we did around here previously in the season, Broshek was the man who won the race as well. That's his only victory this season, was here at the Belgian Grand Prix. So he could very well throw a spanner in the works as he actually get a slipstream as well going towards the bus stop chicane there from Red Bull. So a little bit slow maybe on the exit of the bus stop there, I think. But it's going to be P1 with a 45.5, 44.5 even for Broshek, and he retires straight away. Clearly happy with that one.
Yeah, very quick lap time from Broshek, 44.5. That's going to be a very difficult time to beat. Orbit Pride just over, or just under 2 tenths of a second slower, and Yi slots himself into 3rd. Limitless only managing 6th place with a 45 flat. So Limitless is in trouble as he will have only one more attempt to improve that as he comes. Well, because it's only 6 minutes remaining. But remember, this track is enormously long with a 1:45 lap time. So he'll be able to go into the pits, have an out lap, and then there'll be one more attempt. So Limitless down in 6th place, but that's better than Martin, who hasn't set a lap time just yet. Let's have a look and see where he is. His first sector time, average at best, just about the same as Limitless, is maybe just a tiny bit quicker. So Martin and Limitless both put themselves in a little bit of a spot of danger. And I think some of the other drivers are smelling an opportunity to get some good points and even a win here this afternoon.
Yeah, and it's the last things these guys would have wanted. As Martin takes a lot of the curb there on the outside. I don't think he really gained too much time actually from extending Puhon. That curb is really dangerous, and he also take a longer run through the corner, and then he nearly runs into the gravel there as well. Martin really messing his line here, obviously maybe slightly exaggerated by the spectator camera placing the cars, but a little bit shaky from Martin there in the middle sector. I guess you can check his time.
Sorry,
as well.
Fizzy, I just need to cut across you. Orbit Pride, a huge middle sector from him, a 44.8, 3/10 quicker than Broshek's middle sector, but unfortunately Orbit Pride's first sector was really quite slow, so I think he might have a little bit more downforce going to the last sector. Orbit Pride could take pole position.
Yep, as Martin now, we're going to focus on him first before potentially switching to Orbit Pride. He's going to cross the line right, and now when it's P2 for Martin. Well, let's go backwards to Orbit Pride, who pits actually. Orbit Pride pits. So he's made a mistake there in the final sector, I think.
Interesting. So Martin up in P2. A huge statement from Martin to get himself on the front row of the grid right now. Retires as well. Limitless down in 8th place at the moment. And he will have one more flying attempt to improve that. If he starts in P8, he is going to be in big trouble.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, I was going to mention before, because I seem to remember from the race we were here previously in the season, Limitless also didn't really nail the qualifying, and he was caught up in some kind of accident on the first turn and dropped down the field.
Down to P9 now, Fizzy, sorry.
Oh my God.
Jason97 F1 has slotted himself into 6th place. So Limitless is finding himself on the 5th row of the grid at the moment. But it's worth pointing out, if he improves by less than a tenth, he will go up to P5, because it's so close between P5 to P9. But he still has to improve, and it's a very long lap, and you can easily make a mistake round here. And I think Martin right now will be sitting very comfortable whilst Limitless is about to start his final lap.
Yeah, I'm going to go on board with Limitless then, seeing as Broshek...
Sorry, Fizzy, another thing worth pointing out, Orbit Pride on his flying lap again, middle sector, huge once again from Orbit Pride, unless that is him on an out lap, in which case the split time is lying to me, and I'm pretty sure the split time is lying to me. Yeah, he's on an out lap.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, F1 2013.
Right. Yeah, this is crunch time.
And then Arrigo, actually, I don't know if he's on the lap right now, Fizzy, but he's done a very good middle sector as well and could put himself up in the mix. He's in P8 at the moment.
Right, okay, so Limitless is not actually on lap, so he's on an out lap. Let's try to... Where is Eva on the scoreboard at the moment?
He's 8th and last sector, potentially.
Oh, it says he's on an out lap as well.
Oh, okay.
So I think your scoreboard...
It's what happens when they're on a lap and then they pit and then they come out the pits. It shows the first two sectors from their previous lap. I don't know why it does that. But, okay, so we've got a little bit of a glitch with the system, but that's just how it is in general with this game. So Orbit Pride has shown in that middle sector that he really does have the pace to take pole position here. If he can just get a better first sector, which from looking at his first and second sectors, it does seem like he's running a little bit more downforce, which will impact on his overtaking ability in the race, but will mean that he's a lot quicker in that second sector. So it's going to be interesting to see if Orbit Pride is just trying to get that pole position with the quicker sort of middle sector, and then to try and run away with it from there. But I mean, we know with the Belgian Grand Prix and with Spa that it is very difficult to run away with things, as I'm keeping a very eagle eye on Limitless's first sector if he's about to come over the first sector split sometime around now, Fizzy.
No, he's actually, he needs to back off before he starts even his final lap, and he's... Oh no, wait! I don't think he's going to have time here. Limitless, what are you doing? You need to cross the line right now, you don't have time for this! He's backing off behind Yi, I think, on his out lap.
Well, that's it then. That's over for Limitless. He's down in P9. It's 1 minute 38. There's no chance.
He started now. That's way too late. It's only, yeah.
Oh.
Unless...
He can finish his lap. Wait, he can't finish it. Can he finish his lap?
Can he finish? Oh, no, yeah, he can, of course, yeah. I thought that was like the... Okay. Yeah, I can finish his lap, of course.
Great, nice.
God!
You've just made... I'm like No, surely he can just finish his
Look,
lap.
man! I'm just trying...
It's not F1 2016, Fizzy.
Yeah. Damn elimination system,
Limitless
man.
has got 90 seconds to finish the lap now. Okay, so Limitless will. He's probably listening to this stream like, what? Oh my god, I've done. You know. Okay, let's take a calm approach now. As Limitless probably anything but calm in that cockpit right now. Fizzy, let us know how he's doing.
He is doing alright. It looks like a solid first sector, actually. Yes. This championship battle is messing with my head. I don't think we ever had a championship battle this close going into the last 2 races. Please excuse my brain deadness there for a second. But yeah, it looks like a good first half of the lap. He's got Yi only a couple of seconds ahead of him. So I don't know, hopefully he doesn't make a mistake to distract Limitless here. Oh, but he misses the apex. Puyong manages to keep the speed though, even though he went off the track there. So
worth pointing out that Orbit Pride and NLR Evo are on decent laps at the moment and could both improve. Limitless, has he gone through the first sector yet?
Yeah, he's about to go through the second sector.
30.395, that's not really anything special. Evo is probably the man that needs to be watched. Limitless, slow in that middle sector. And, he could still get himself into the high 1-minute 44s, which might put him on the 3rd row of the grid if he can get a decent last sector visit.
Yeah.
And Evo puts himself into 4th with a 44.8.
Nice one, and he retires from the race. Timer's about to go down, but as we have established, Limitless can finish this bust-up chicane and then cross the line here. Yi is going to cross the line just ahead of him as well. So what's it going to be for Limitless? It's going to be only P6 for the championship contender. That is disappointment for him. He's obviously mentioned before the race, once again, just like last week, that he has been having some controller issues. Remains to be seen. Last week it clearly didn't really affect him because he won the race and drove really, really well. But here in qualifying, he seems to have been struggling quite a bit as Leebot and only one more driver is actually on the track right now.
So, Brochek looks like he's taken pole position for this Belgian Grand Prix. The man that won this time, this season again. Not this time last season, but this season because obviously we've already done this track. But it was voted as the driver's favourite, so we're back here once again, and I'm pretty sure it's a favourite amongst spectators and drivers alike, because it will produce some seriously close racing. As you can see, between P1 and P10, considering how long this lap is, 0.7 of a second, well actually half a second, separating P1 to P9. So Fizzy, I think we've got a pretty good race on our hands, and Limitless really has thrown the cat amongst the pigeons in the sense that he's got a lot of work to do.
Got a lot of work to do, but Brochek, the man who won it early in the season, he's going to take pole with the championship leader Martin in 2nd place. 4 positions ahead of Limitless is only in 6th, and splitting them is Orbit Pride, NLR Evo and Yi. Some interesting names in that mix that might also be in Limitless' way. Foxside in 7th, Leebot dropped down to 8th in the end. Jason Undersea Return is in 9th, Unleashed in 10th. Probably a little bit disappointing for him, and then Harry Anso K-Block. The 2 who will get free tyre choice starting outside the top 10. But yeah, very close, less than half a second separating the top 9 there.
Brochek putting in the chat, what a comeback by the reigning champion. So that's some good banter from Brochek there. Very happy with his lap, I'm sure. But the race is a completely different thing, especially around Spa. Being in P1, Fizzy, from my experience anyway, is actually not the greatest position to start on this race. And usually it's either P2 or even P3. Because when you go down the straight, imagine you've got 1st place, then 2nd place comes out of the slipstream. They're going side by side. Then P3 is getting double slipstream. And you've got a bit of carnage going into turn, whatever it is, 3.
Yep. Yeah, all I know is it's going to be an action-packed race. We had one very action-packed previously in the season. I'm sure this will be no different with a very interesting grid as well. Limitless, all the work to do. Martin will obviously be looking to get past Brochek as soon as possible and try to break away, but considering Brochek's pace there earlier in the season, as Yi actually loses connection, so that is a free position for Limitless actually, that could be crucial. Yi qualified 5th, just ahead of Limitless, and he's going to get that position by virtue of Yi now disconnecting.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame, but well, for some people that might actually be a relief, because some people don't particularly enjoy Yi's lag/driving. So Yi's missing, we've got 6% chance of rain. And will that 6%, will that play a factor in this race? We're yet to find out. But Limitless will be very happy to find that he's now in P5. One less car to pass between himself and Martin. And I'm pretty sure Limitless doesn't care where he finishes as long as it's ahead of Martin.
Yeah, that's the thing. These guys have obviously been going at it all season long. It's, I mentioned it before, it's been a Season of two halves in a way. Martin, really dominant from the get-go, won the first 4 races of the season. Then Limitless finally got his first win on the board in Spain. The changeable weather, if I remember correctly. And there kind of been a changing wins a little bit with Ivo and Brošek mixing themselves into the race-winning mix on a few occasions. But yeah, in the end though, it's only a 6-point gap. And that is all that matters now with 2 rounds to go.
We're about to get underway for this Belgian Grand Prix for the penultimate race of the season, and I'm looking forward to it. Fizzy is as well. And let's just wait for the loading screens for round 17, the Belgian Grand Prix.
Ooh, getting tense.
That was where you stopped talking, Fizzy, and then I come with the introduction. It's race time. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. It's xMattyG commentating for you today with FizzyFan91 in the commentary box beside me. We've got a 6% chance of rain for this round 17, the penultimate race of the season. Who is going to come out on top? Martin, Limitless, or someone else? We're about to find out as the light sequence is about to begin for this 22-lap race around Spa. We've got 3 lights, 4 lights, and now the final light's up. Lights out, and away we go for this Belgian Grand Prix. We'll quickly retire and have a look into turn 1. It's a very short run down to turn 1. Brošek getting actually a bit of a slower start compared to Martin. It looks like at the moment everyone getting through.
Ooh, Limitless, bit of contact.
Yeah, bit of lag with Limitless for me at least anyway.
Yeah, me too.
But as we now have Brošek flying through Eau Rouge, I just have to change my camera angle as it's messing up already. But
Limitless is wide! I saw him back there. Oh, he managed to save it, I think. He went wide at the Rouge.
Martin takes the lead of the race. It's going to be very close going down the straight. We've got a Sauber getting involved as well. Brošek down to P3. As I said, from pole position, not the ideal place to start. Martin takes the lead. We've got a Sauber now up into P2, and that is Orbit Pride up into P2. Brošek down to P3.
Oh, he pressed wide for me.
Fantastic lap. And we've got another car wide. I'm not sure who that is, but Limitless, I think it's down in about 7th place at the moment, and a terrible start for the challenger for this title.
That is, oh man, it's what we talked about. It's always dangerous to qualify so low down in the midfield because you're going to have so many cars around you, both in front and behind, and Limitless getting caught up in the first lap action so far in this race. Not what he would have wanted, while Martin, the championship leader, obviously has made his way out in front just like he would have wanted. And with Orbit Pride also passing Brošek, so kind of a poor start from Brošek after actually getting a good launch off the line, but then got, slipstreamed past down the Camel Straight.
Yeah, as I said, the slipstream is just huge on that one because the cars are so closely sort of bunched together. But I think the main talking point here is that Martin has got a bit of a healthy lead as we come towards the end of lap 1. Limitless down in 7th place, and as I've found out with previous experience myself racing in this, especially in F1 2013, as Limitless gets a nudge from behind from the Mercedes of K-Block, who I don't think Limitless has been racing too often this season, but my experience is that, and as we've seen in qualifying, the pace differential between the drivers isn't that much around this track. So Limitless, although you would expect in some tracks for Limitless to fly past people, get up to P2, maybe like Bahrain, I think he had an instant there, didn't he? And then he got back up into P2. But for Limitless here, he's going to struggle because it's a slipstream fest, and he's actually falling away from P6 at the moment, and is actually coming under pressure from K-Block. And Limitless is going to have to go defensive here if he wants to maintain P7, but I think they're both kind of catching a little bit of slipstream. But Limitless right now struggling.
Yeah,
got cars side by side
ahead of him.
Of a Williams and a Red Bull, but
Evo and Unleashed, I think.
Evo and Unleashed coming through unscathed through there. It's not usually a side by side maneuver there, but Limitless obviously has said about his controller issues, but he said that last week and there was no issues for him then. So well, you have to just go with what he says. But right now I'm seeing on the minimap a huge lead for the one man that wants to win this championship.
Oh, that was close. Limitless picking up a position as a virtue of, I would think it was Foxside in the Sauber running off the track at Puon. So Limitless up to P6, but yeah, Martin with a huge margin out in front, and maybe even getting Brošek and Orbit Pride out of his slipstream range. I believe he has.
Yeah.
And Limitless is going to get a good run though on Unleashed to run wide out of, onto the back straight. I can't remember the corner name, but he's going to have the slipstream now, gaining very, very slowly. Not really easy to be side by side through Blanchimon, so Limitless is going to be patient there and maybe find a way through into the bus stop chicane. Going to go to the inside, braking slightly later than Unleashed. Unleashed though, holding it around the outside, very impressive, and Limitless
there's
really
a
under
getting
pressure.
involved as well.
Yeah, Foxeye trying to get that position back that he lost earlier in the lap, but luckily no contact, but also no overtakes being done.
Yes, the Limitless upper position, as you said. We've got Mercedes up the inside. Limitless, I don't think he was expecting that K-block, wanting a piece of the action into turn 1, and will now possibly have a chance of overtaking Limitless. This is not going to be easy for the Mauritia driver, who may well be hoping to cut. Well, he definitely will be hoping to come through the field.
Word. Oh!
And
K-block with a nightmare through Eau Rouge.
I don't know how people are having nightmares on this game through Eau Rouge. It's usually just flat. But anyway, Limitless now with the DRS is going to go flying past Unleashed. Oh, there's contact with the rear of Limitless's tyre. He just came straight across Unleashed there. I'm not sure. Very strange as they're side by side again. And Unleashed is going to be up the inside now of this right-hander. Limitless getting the better exit though. And we've got a Mercedes of K-block up the inside of Unleashed. They're 3 wide going into this right-hander. And there's slight contact, but K-block makes the position up. Unleashed loses the position down into P7, and Limitless somehow coming away in P5 at the moment. And well,
that one.
This
Look
is
at the cars behind.
That's a string of cars between P5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So Limitless really wants to get out of this if he can, because with the slipstream and the DRS now being active, Limitless has to get out of K-Block's kind of range of being able to overtake him and start to look ahead to the cars in front.
Yeah, K-Block had an impressive result last week with 4th position. That's by far his best result of the season, and well, an interesting first few laps for him. Certainly very feisty, maybe a little bit over feisty, I would say, in a part of that battling on the previous lap, or earlier this lap. And he might come under pressure, actually, from Unleashed. He's got a defense slightly on the inside park. His Mercedes in the middle of the track to make it hard for Unleashed to find a way through. He's going to settle behind. 2 cars in the pits, actually, already after lap 3. That's where the 2 guys are at the back of the field. Yeah, there might have been a guy pitting from higher up as well. The pits are faced starting very early, actually.
Yeah, very interesting. So Martin, the gap he has pulled out at the front of the field.
That is massive.
This man wants this championship more than anything, I think, and that gap just shows that he has got not only the pace, but the determination and the dedication to put in the laps and beat. Actually, we've got a very close battle up in, for P2 at the moment.
Yep.
Between Orbit Pride, who goes round the outside of the Williams of NLR Evo, and Orbit Pride up into P2. These two battling. They really could be using the slipstream effect to their advantage, but it seems like they're just battling so hard. That could play into the hands of Limitless, who is in P4 at the moment. However, he's bringing a heap of cars as well. So if he catches onto the back of these 2 ahead, he's not only bringing himself, but he's bringing another 4 cars, Fizzy.
Yeah, that's true. As Orbit Pride managed to hold off Evo for now, but Limitless is definitely. It's hard to say whether it's closing. I think it's closing. He's definitely. Yeah, it was definitely further back on the previous lap, but yeah, the guys behind, the huge train, led by K-Block behind him, is still keeping within a second. So this could be very interesting. Limitless has a huge task to do. I mean, it's obviously for the championship's sake, it would have been interesting if Limitless somehow managed to find a way to catch Martin there. I think that's looking very, very difficult, considering Martin's done everything right in this early part of the race.
Martin
he didn't.
Martin into the pits now as well.
Martin into the pits. Oh, and K-Block out of nowhere on Limitless. Jesus Christ. He's run wide. He's run wide a bus stop in that over-ambitious attempt. Limitless going into the pits as well, as is everyone else by the looks of it. Apart from one Sauber that I saw going through on the main straight. Let's see. Limitless now can see Martin coming out of the pits as he's going into the pit box. So that is going to be a little bit motivating, I think.
Definitely. So Unleashed has now taken the lead of the race over from Martin. K-Block is in the slipstream of Unleashed. These guys have carried on for another lap, so their tyres are going to be screaming to be taken off their cars right now. And K-Block looks like he's definitely going to get past Unleashed if he uses a bit more curves than what he's used. The DRS actually not that useful for K-Block, as he now breaks a little bit later than Unleashed, and it's going to go around the outside, but there's almost contact with it. I think there was a little bit of contact, but fortunately neither of the cars going spearing into the wall. And K-Block, great move from him actually around the outside there, and up into P1 right now. He'll look to try and keep that going into the pits so that the position he's gained on this lap will stay when he goes onto the prime tyres for his next stint. So Unleashed in P2. And we've got Foxside running very wide at the corner with no name. And he is very lucky to not have lost an end plate there, as Foxside trying to catch the 2 cars ahead. And then you've got Martin, the essential race leader, running very wide at P1. So he's still getting used to his prime tyres that he's just stuck on. Brochek P5. Oh, Brochek's pitted early, I think, and is now in an essential P2.
Right. So
that is enormous.
That is huge. And has he closed the gap then?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Brochek is now only maybe 2.5 seconds behind Martin, I'd say.
Wow, yeah.
And he was behind both Evo and.
He was behind Evo and Orbit Pride, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and because they've been battling so much, Brochek pitting early, getting that track position. Obviously, he will get caught towards the end of the stint, but Brochek right now putting himself into a net P2.
Yeah, as the top 3 now also going into the pits. So after this lap, everyone will be shaken out in terms of their pit stop. Martin retakes the lead. You can see Brochek there coming towards turn 1 behind him as Martin now comes out of turn 1. The gap is 2 or 3 seconds.
What's crucial to point out, Limitless has now got DRS on Orbit Pride, so he has joined the battle for essentially what is now P3, as Brochek's now thrown himself into the mix in P2. But Limitless definitely still has a chance of finishing P2 in this race, but he's going to have to do some overtaking, and he's going to have to be very clever about it as well. Martin's lead is not unassailable, but it's looking pretty good for the title contender.
Yeah, and well, I've got to say, he might have a chance for P2, but there's a pretty big gap forming to Brochek as well. Obviously, bearing in mind that he pitted early and will be struggling a bit more than these guys with his tyres. And everyone now trying to get used to their pace on the prime tyres. That was a little bit of a crossover point in terms of getting used to the primes when you've been driving both the qualifying and the start of the race on the options. Pretty big difference to these hard compound tires, but yeah, Limitless just it's got to be a damage limitation for him really. It was all down to qualifying that put him in the mid pack on the first lap. That lost him so much time having to fend off that 6-car train on the first lap where everyone was scrambling left and right. Just craziness. Now he's finally got a break from those guys, but has to make some overtakes on both Orbit Pride and Evo ahead of him, and we know from previous races this season that they are not easy to pass either. They have their days with incredible pace, especially Evo, who is obviously a 3-time race winner this season now. He's on great form recently. Whereas Orbit Pride has been a little bit more up and down. Limit is now definitely closing towards the bus stop. So we are coming towards the end of lap 6. We got 16 laps to go. And Matt, what would you say the gap is from Martin in first to Limitless in fifth? Maybe 10 seconds or so?
Let's have a look and see. So where's Martin and where's Limitless? Limitless is in P5. So Martin's going through Eau Rouge now. And, well, Limitless is nowhere near Eau Rouge. I'd say it's about an 8-second gap between Martin and Limitless as a guess.
That's about right.
But yeah, so Martin right now out in front, but I'm sure with the thought, although he will be thinking that he's got 1 lap fresher tyres.
Limitless. Passing Orbit Pride then for P4. Quite easily with the DRS there.
Okay, so Limitless up into P4, that's crucial. He's now going to have to stay in DRS range of P3, otherwise Orbit Pride will most likely come back in.
He needs to catch him first. Evo's too far ahead.
Yep, so he'll have to catch Orbit Pride, otherwise he may well lose that P4 that he's just gained from Orbit Pride. Although Orbit Pride losing the back end quite significantly before the corner of no name. And Limitless is going to have to push very hard in this middle and last sector to get out of DRS range of Orbit Pride. And, well, Limitless, even P2 isn't good enough. Limitless has to win this race if he really wants to win this championship, because Martin will come away. If Limitless, say, was to finish in P2, which is no certainty, then the gap will be 13 points, meaning that Martin could finish in P4 in Brazil and win the championship.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a huge difference with one race, in the penultimate race, between closing the gap to 1 point, which he could if he wins and Martin is second, and also, not well. Even if he finishes second, as you said, the gap's going to be 13 points. It's a huge difference. So yeah, and he's then reliant on Martin having a poor final race, which, based on his form this season, it can happen. He's had a few poor results, but that has been because he's been caught up in incidents, not because of his pace that has been lacking. So if Martin is allowed to run a clean race at Interlagos, then you'd have to think that, yeah, Limitless definitely needs to beat him here today.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Martin. Oh, here we go. Limitless is going to come under pressure, as I said, from Orbit Pride, who has the DRS, but Limitless has used his curves late, so it's going to be very close. But Orbit Pride does have the top speed. to get back past Limitless. And well, it's not the be all and end all, because these two, as I've said with Orbit Pride and Evo when they were fighting, is that Limitless is probably a little bit smarter in the sense that he will try and just pass him every lap, not really kind of push them into making each other making mistakes, because that would just mean they'll lose time to P3 and NLR Evo. But Brochet doing a good job at the moment in P2, but he is going to have to stretch those tyres a lap or two longer than they would want to, because otherwise he's not going to get to the end of the race with consistent enough tyres to stay on the track. But Martin right now still looking very comfortable out front. He has the fastest lap of the... No, he does not have the fastest lap of the race, actually. Jason 97 F1 does in P7 with a 1:47.499. But Jason, a previous race winner, I'm assuming. I'm remembering, sorry.
Yeah, from Season 9. On 2014, he was actually a very strong contender. He won some races in Season 9. On that game. Struggling a bit more with this game by the looks of it. And obviously been out now for a few races as well. But yeah.
So it was 2014 that Jason was really quick round here.
It was, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm getting.
I think he might have even won here on 2014 actually. Yes,
yeah, he
now
did.
He's getting past. Oh, Red Bull's gonna go around the outside. Maybe 2 cars at the same time there. He's at Unleashed, he passed Jason under braking there, and now side by side with Leobot coming towards turn 1. It's a huge move if he can pull that up and get himself at the front of this train. He's going to try around the outside of turn 1 as well. It's Unleashed. That is beautiful, and he's done it. Pulling better traction out of the corner as well. Jason now is going to put pressure on Leobot, but...
I think that might be in vain, Fizzy, because he's going to now have 2 cars in the slipstream. Both have DRS, and Unleashed, despite pulling off that magnificent move, he's going to have Leobot and potentially the McLaren as well. But actually, no, Leobot hasn't got too much top speed on Unleashed. So Unleashed is only going to lose 1 position now. And Leobot just about making the corner in P6 now. So Unleashed looking like he has maybe slight better pace than the cars in front. But that's the problem with Spa. If you don't break out the DRS range, then you will lose positions to potentially cars that are not as quick as you. And, well, Limitless is finding out that is the issue as well, because I'm sure he feels that he is quicker than the cars that he is fighting. But he can't break out of DRS of Orbit Pride to be able to actually catch them. So Brochet does seem like he is getting caught now by NLR Evo as we come towards the end. Well, actually no, we still need a few more laps I think out of Brochet's tyres, but Evo is catching Brochet quite quickly now, and Martin just very comfortable out in front. He hasn't really extended the gap too much out in front, but it's enough to feel comfortable with 13 laps to go.
Yeah, and we know from Spa previous races it's going to be 2-stop strategy around here. Got pitted on lap 3 or 4 as Limitless is actually getting very close to Orbit Pride once again, but it's definitely not helping him at all to have to battle him. He really needs to get past, and unlike what he did previously, then shake him off and actually chase after Evo rather than having to battle him more. But he had a poor exit out of the bus stop now. He's going to have a good chance obviously once again with the DRS on the Camel Straight. But that's only going to get him past. It's not going to get him away. So he needs to do the job. You know, it might be quite easy to pass sometimes with DRS on the straight, but then he has to do the job in the second sector to actually get away from him as well if he wants to get higher up the field. So here we go, closing. Maybe a little bit too early there. You don't want to be closing up through a route, but they're going to be side by side at the top of it. Down the straight, Limitless with the DRS, and then we'll be pulling ahead. We'll be trying to grab as much slipstream as he can, but in all vain as Limitless gets ahead. Just about with a lockup from Orbit Pride, I think he's battling. Yeah, Leobot back into P6 behind. Oh yeah, actually, I think he defended P6 there actually, as he still got Unleashed, Jason, and Foxside now all over him as well.
Interestingly, Orbit Pride didn't use any bit of KERS to defend down that straight. He still has a full bar behind Limitless. Limitless using just a tiny bit to get past Orbit Pride, so I'm assuming Orbit Pride's going to save most of it for the back straight to get as close as possible to Limitless to get the position back. However, he has fallen a little bit away from Limitless, so he's going to be a little bit wary of that, but Limitless runs very wide through that right-hander and has lost a little bit of time, but then Orbit Pride missing the apex on that left-hander, and he gives a little bit of time back, but he's definitely close enough to get the slipstream, and I'm sure he will be deploying his KERS right about now, which he does. And, well, into the slipstream he must go, E-I-E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting way to put it, but actually seeing on my minimap that the Brochet's been caught for P2 by NLR Evo, so he's been running very strong pace as he has done in previous races as well. Evo, massive lockups at least on the spectator cam there for Orbit Pride. A little bit of lag maybe, but he definitely gained time on Limitless, so seemed to be running slightly wide there in the braking gone for the bus stop, and he's going to be under pressure once again from Orbit Pride. He's not managed to get away like we mentioned that he really had to do in that middle and last sector. So it's going to be an easy prey once again with the DRS enabled here. But I'm actually looking ahead.
Yeah, it might be worth looking at Brochek coming under pressure from Evo, because Brochek won't have us at the tyres to stay with Evo, and Evo now flies into P2, and now will, I would assume, pull away from Brochek, and Brochek will have absolutely nothing to come back with. But Evo misses the apex slightly, which is going to be costly, because every corner counts now between now and the back straight, and he really wants to break that slipstream that Brochek will so dearly want to stay with. But Evo runs very wide again, and maybe getting a little bit nervous with the fact that he has the opportunity to pull away in P2. But Evo, these kind of mistakes we didn't see when he won races at Monaco, and where else did he win races? I can't really remember.
So, dearie me, need to check. So he won at Japan, he won at Abu Dhabi, yep.
Yeah. But instead, with
Brochek,
these mistakes,
of course, won here.
With these mistakes, Brochek has stayed with Evo enough to be able to get into the slipstream once again, and Evo could come under pressure from Brochek. I don't think Brochek will challenge him into the bus stop, but he will be close enough to have DRS on the next lap. And Martin looking ever comfortable every time I look at that mini-map.
Yeah, that's the thing. As long as these guys are battling, it's always the thing we mention, you know.
Oh, sorry, actually, worth pointing out, Limitless has broken the slipstream from Orbit Pride. So now Limitless is on his own now in P4 and can now set his sights on Brochek, who isn't too far ahead as we go through the bus stop chicane with Limitless. And, well, that is crucial for Limitless now that he can stay. He's used all his curves as well. Well, of course he has, as it was down the back straight. But Limitless now probably will deploy all his curves this time rather than down the back straight, just to make sure that he stays away. Let's have a look and see. I'm looking at him now. Yes, he's going to use pretty much... Yeah, he's deploying all of his curves. Oh, he's had a lag spike, I think, as Limitless. Can this man get any luck? Because I'm pretty sure he's just been pushed back a little bit by the game. I don't know if that's just lag and me. But Orbit Pride has managed to get into the slipstream, I think. Yep. Oh, yeah, he has, and he's got DRS as well. So Limitless broke the slipstream, and the tiny lag spike that he had has brought Orbit Pride back into play.
Oh man, Limitless. Just, I don't know if how much that lag spike might have affected him, but yeah, definitely not getting any luck. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see after the race whether, you know, he can clarify whether he actually had some problems during the qualifying session, whether it was just a case of not getting his laps together. But that is what has been costing him. He's still in that battle with Orbit Pride, and these guys battling for second place as well, Evo and Brochek. And while all these guys behind Martin are battling, Martin are just given a free opportunity to extend and extend and extend that gap out in front. I would say about 5 seconds probably from Martin down to even on second, 4 or 5 seconds. So yeah, it's looking very, very good for the championship leader right now, kind of breaking Limitless's good run that he's had recently. Limitless has outraced Martin in the last 3 races. 2 of them, Martin has been a bit unlucky with some incidents.
Yeah, because the gap was huge, wasn't it? It was like 30 odd points at one point. So yeah, down to 6 points now as we've just come from...
Limitless pits actually, as a look back there, he goes into the pits before all of the guys in the top, the other guys in the top 5.
Very interesting. Limitless, almost desperation you have to feel as Limitless, not a man that does that kind of thing, does he? He's usually the one that extends the tyres, likes to kind of have those fresh tyres at the end of the race. He now knows he needs track position, and he needs to fight for his dear life to try and get P2 here, because right now he's not going to get any better than P4 right now, as Brochek has managed to kind of extend his stint on these prime tyres. I think he might lose track position to Limitless, but this time Brochek will have the 1 lap fresher tyres.
Oh, massive battle on the camel straight. It's two wides right after each other here, and Foxide's going to go in the middle of a Toro Rosso, and a Red Bull. Can he pull this one off? This is surely not again and without contact. There's a bit of banging going on. No one's spinning out though. Foxide trying the most opportunistic move I've seen all season, I think. Luckily, no sidepod glitches, because that was very, very scary. But Unleashed actually holds on to P6 there, with Leobot still in, actually P5 now, well, because the Limitless having pitted. And then Leobot and Foxide gaining a position on Jason. But that was crazy battling into the complex.
Yeah, I came on board with them halfway, and I was like, oh my days, like they were so bunched up. It's a pity that this isn't for the lead, really. That'd be pretty cool to watch. But looking back ahead to the front. I'm sure Martin and the rest of the guys will be coming into the pits pretty soonish. We've got one man out the back at the moment on the minimap I'm seeing. I'm assuming that's Ria Harrianto. It is indeed. And we've then got Limitless behind K-Block. So it'd be interesting to see how much he's been held up on this lap, because this is one of the most crucial laps of Limitless's season 10 right now, is this outlap. The fresh tyres that he has he been able to gain any time on Brochek? I'm sure he will have, but is it enough to get past the Mercedes driver? As I'm now on board with Limitless, I'm not sure if you are as well,
he's passed
Fizzy.
him. Easily past him, but
now in the bus stop chicane. And where is Limitless going to come out in comparison to the rest of the guys? We've still got one man who's carried on. I'm not sure who that is right now, but Limitless now into turn 1. Whereabouts is he going to come out in comparison to the rest? And Brochek comes out in front, but no, Limitless will have the DRS and the curves and the sort of speed advantage potentially. Actually, no, Brochek's got a pretty good exit out of the pits, and Brochek really needs to stay ahead of Limitless if he can. And I think he might well have a chance to. Let's see if Brochek is using any of his curves. It looks like Limitless is closing very quickly.
Got DRS.
Brochek has used all of his curves. He has to go defensive. Is he going to? Brochek on the inside. Limitless now to the outside. So we come to this right-hander. Is Limitless going to try it around the outside? Yes, he's going to have the inside for this left-hander. Limitless up into P5. But Brochek now, cutting the corner quite significantly there, Brochek. But Limitless up into P5 for now. And K-Block up the inside out of absolutely nowhere.
His teammate.
That is the most opportunistic move I've ever seen in my life. Brochek sleeping, then cutting the corner in frustration. And K-Block up into P6. Brochek not happy with that at all. Now goes up the inside and Poo on the two teammates. Going very close indeed. And this is crucial for Limitless, who is now in P5 and has broken the DRS and the slipstream. And Brochek must be so frustrated in that cockpit with K-Block, who has a right to fight. And now they're side by side again. And Brochek now retakes K-Block. And K-Block has pitted as well, I'm assuming. So it is for position.
Nah, I'm not sure actually. K-Block is. It's kind of appeared out of nowhere, to be honest.
K-Block has only pitted once. So God knows why. K-Block just wanted a bit of TV time. That's what he wanted right there. As Evo is the man that carried on for another lap. So he's coming into the pits now. And we'll have those fresher set of tyres. So Martin is going to retake the lead. We've got Foxside carrying on for another lap. So he's going to essentially be in P2, but not net P2, let's be real. Then you've got
someone coming out of the pits.
So Evo's coming out of the pits now, and Limitless, well, he is close, and Limitless may have a chance to overtake Evo, but Evo will have 2 laps fresher tyres, and surely the favourite to finish ahead of Limitless now with 7 laps to go. And right now, Fizzy, I'm going to predict that Limitless is going to finish in P4, but right now Limitless wants to say hell no to that prediction as he opens the DRS and flies past Evo right now, and is now setting his sights on Orbit Pride, who is in P2. And, well, no, it's not. That's Foxside, sorry. So, no, so Limitless is essentially up into a net P2. Yeah. And, well, Limitless has thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, and now, well, I think Limitless probably will finish in P3 once once Evo's tyres have got up to speed. But, well, it's not exactly horrendous, considering where Limitless was at one stage in the race, but, well, Martin is absolutely unassailable.
It's going to be an all-out fight for seconds here, I think, between Evo and Limitless, and maybe Brochek can still get back into it. We know he has the pace around here. Limitless, though, has to navigate. Foxside is yet to pit for a second time. He doesn't really need this, and Foxside defends. He has an obligation to get out of the way here, of course.
That has killed Limitless, that has. Yeah. Oh my days, as we now come onto the back straight. I'm on board with Evo at the moment, watching the 2 guys ahead, and Limitless in the slipstream of the Sauber. Not going to be very happy as Foxside not really making a decisive move as to which way he's going to go. Limitless is being blocked as we come through Blanchimont, and now Limitless, is he going to go up the inside at the bus stop chicane? No, he's going to decide against it because I think he realises that he needs DRS on that straight. And oh no, he dives into the pits. Limitless is going to be absolutely killed here as Brochek is now potentially in DRS range as well. Limitless gets DRS down the pit straight towards turn 1 now. But Limitless is going to come under some serious pressure, and surely Evo is just going to fly past him. But the main issue here is that he wanted to stay ahead of Brochek, or at least have a bit of a gap to him as we come towards the end of the race. But now Brochek within DRS range of Evo. Limitless is not looking good for anything more than 12 points here, Vizzy.
No, and he was given a lucky break with Brochek being held up by his teammates on that previous lap, and he managed to get away, but now he's been held up to himself by Foxside, and now being repassed as he goes side by side through Lecombe. Evo making slight contact as he went a bit hard on the curb on the inside, got kind of spat out to the middle of the track. Luckily, no major incident there. Limitless managed to defend very well, holding it around the outside there, but this has brought Brošek right into play as well, so now it's now going to be a three-way scrap to the finish for these guys for second place. It's going to be a case of Limitless fighting as hard as he possibly can to limit the points lost to Martin, because you can see the gap on the minimap. There's no way Limitless catches that to Martin unless something incredibly unexpected happens with Martin, like his controller disconnects or his house blows up or something.
Let's hope his house doesn't blow up.
Yeah.
If you've ever wanted to see a man defend for his life on F1 2013, you have tuned in to the right race, because Limitless right now in P2, maybe a sniff of hope going into Brazil if he finishes in P2 and gets 18 points here this afternoon. But we've got Evo and Brošek. There's no love lost between Brošek and Limitless, although you say that they've patched up their things, but at the same time there's still going to be a bit of animosity. There's still going to be a bit of Brošek wanting to beat Limitless, and you've got Evo in the middle, the man that's new to this league, and he is going to have an opportunity to overtake Limitless. What has Limitless got in the tank? You're about to find out in these next 5 laps.
Ooh, it's going to be a tense final few laps here as we go on to the DRS straight. This is where all the overtaking, well, most of the overtaking, well, there's actually been quite a bit of overtaking going on every place on the track really so far. But this is the main place, and Evo's going to have once again a good run. Catch him Limitless even before the DRS is enabled. Here we go, DRS, just to pull him ahead. And Brošek's going to come from behind as well. So I'm looking on board with Evo from behind. Brošek is going to go to the inside, is he? Ooh, he's trying to, but just was not close enough. So Limitless only dropping 1 position there. It's always dangerous around here on a straight that long with DRS to be at the head of a 3-man train. You can easily, if you get a slightly poor exit out of turn 1 and through a Rouge, you can easily end up losing 2 positions. Limitless though managing to only lose 1, and it's going to have to do well here actually to keep up with Evo throughout the lap, because as we remember, the pit advantage is with Evo and Brošek by 1 lap.
Well,
so
it's 2 laps for Evo. Evo stayed out longer than everybody, so that's why you can see the pace difference now, and it is crucial for Limitless to stay within that slipstream of Evo, and this is literally going to be the pivotal moment in this championship. If Limitless finishes in second, he has a chance going into Brazil. He has to stay with Evo, but he doesn't have the grip with the tyres. Can he get within that slipstream? I think he might just have, you know, Fizzy, as we come now down this very long slipstream. It's almost like a tunnel, the amount of slipstream you get down here, but it doesn't look like he's closing in enough to give Limitless any kind of hope going into the bus stop chicane. Obviously, he wouldn't try and overtake here anyway. He'll just save it for the DRS zone on the next lap. But right now, he will get DRS this time round. Brošek, he might have more of a chance with. There's only 1 lap difference between Brošek and Limitless. But Evo, with that 2-lap fresher tyres, surely is going to be the favourite to finish P2 here. Can Limitless get DRS? I think he might be able to, you know, as he's got reasonable traction coming out of turn 1. He's going to use 3/4 of his curves just to stay within DRS. Let's have a look and see if Evo's used any of his curves. He's used quite a bit of his curves. Using the rest of it now as he's come up the top of Eau Rouge.
Very far ahead.
And, well, no, Limitless just about gets DRS. But I think, Fizzy, we're going to lose DRS this time with Limitless as if we come to the end of lap 18. I'm pretty sure Brošek is going to have a great opportunity to get on that final step of the podium.
Yeah, because if Limitless drives a lap on this one like he did on the previous lap, then he's going to definitely be out of the DRS range of Evo, because he drove a very solid lap there on his fresher tires to bridge a gap. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. And Brošek, he's also on the edge actually of losing DRS there. Both Limitless and Brošek in a bit of a struggle right now to just stay within the 1 second window of the car ahead. Crunch time for these guys. They really need to keep focused and hit their apexes, hit their braking points, not to make any mistakes there, because that could be the difference between keeping and losing DRS, which this track being one of the most important ones to have it.
Limitless has done fantastically on this lap to stay within almost touching distance of Evo here. I know it's going to get worse as the laps go by, but I think Limitless has done a fantastic job and actually pulled away from Brošek ever so slightly. Even though he's got 1 lap older tyres, Limitless is digging deep here to try and stay on this podium. He has to if he wants to have any chance of winning this championship at Brazil. Martin's sitting there probably hoping that he doesn't see Limitless pop up, and actually Limitless very quick through that bus stop chicane, gets DRS and might, Fizzy, he might have an opportunity here to overtake Evo on the straight if he gets a good exit out of turn 1. Can he make it? He's done pretty well, but he's going to just have to be struggling for traction a little bit more than Evo. But here we go. Limitless now using pretty much all of his curves and even saving just a third as we now fly up Eau Rouge for the 19th time in this round 17 penultimate race of the season, the F1 2013 League. Limitless, I don't think it's going to get close enough, because I think Evo's used all of his curves, and Limitless, all he needs to do is just stick there, and Brochek has actually lost DRS on the Marussia driver, I think, and well, can Limitless stay with Evo, and can Brochek catch the Marussia driver?
Yeah, that was a great lap of Limitless. Evo putting the marker down on lap 17 to actually nearly get Limitless out of his DRS range, but then Limitless responding on lap 18 to, get closer throughout the middle part of the lap. But yeah, he's gonna have to do it all over again though to not drop out. Runs slightly wide of the pun and manages to not extend it. Nice to see. It's still within the 1 second window. I'm looking at the minimap as well. There is still a close battle going on in the midfield for what I believe is going to be P6 back there, as Limitless nearly runs into the gravel actually. Coming now onto the back straight. So yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what Limitless can do. It's going to be really, to be honest,
if Limitless he's actually in the slipstream here, Fizzy. He's actually caught that slipstream that he hasn't got the other laps as much as this, I don't think, as Limitless now getting that much needed benefit of that extra mile per hour. And actually, yeah, Brochek's still not catching Limitless at the moment, and this is going to be a huge performance from Limitless if he can finish in P3, let alone P2. If he can finish on the podium here, this will be a fantastic performance from Limitless after the issues that he had at the start and not qualifying where he really should have. And well, the qualifying woes is part of becoming a champion. I can't really talk about that because when I became champion, I don't think I ever got pole, but either way, pole isn't everything, but it means that you can also get caught up in a lot of things. And Limitless now still staying with the Williams driver, and Brochek falling away from Limitless at the moment. It's really looking good for Limitless to finish with 15 points here, but that is still going to give Martin 16 points of an advantage going into Brazil. He has to pass NLR even, and I think Limitless realises this. I'd love to see how much fuel he has, because I think he's burning absolutely every single last milliliter to try and get P2.
Yeah, he has to really. He just needs to push every part of his skill and car to the limit here. Not the best few corners there actually. Evo's just still staying like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10s ahead as it's done for a while now. There's one thing Limitless is doing so well to keep within a second air and keep DRS, but there's one thing actually doing that, and there's another thing actually getting close enough to challenge on that main straight, as Limitless has not managed so far, but he has pulled the gap on Brochek at least, which is also a very good job. And yeah, it's quite interesting actually, because we mentioned about Limitless not having the best qualifying. He qualified P6 of course, and he actually did exactly that in the race we had here in Belgium earlier in the season as well. He qualified 6th as well, but on that occasion he was helped by Martin, only qualifying 5th, whereas Martin now improved his qualifying from earlier in the season with P2. So
he's qualifying. Interesting. Is he
qualifying?
Bacon?
Yeah, I'd take that. I'm sure he'd enjoy that right now. A little bit of extra energy to charge after Evo, with 2 laps to go.
Limitless still getting the DRS from Evo, which is, I mean, 2 laps. Just to put it into perspective for people that maybe haven't raced on 2013 for ages, or haven't raced on 2013 at all. Maybe you're a new kind of guy to F1. But either way, the 2 lap difference, that has got to be, Fizzy, I don't know if you can vouch for this, probably 6, 7 tenths difference, because I think it's about 2 or 3 tenths a lap that you lose over the course of, especially around here when it's such a long lap.
Yeah.
The tyre difference and the time differential you have if you pit a lap or 2 later is usually huge, and Evo is not harnessing the potential of his tyres, and Limitless pushing the track boundaries to their absolute limits. As we're on the penultimate lap of the penultimate race of the season, Martin has dominated this race from start to finish, getting ahead of Brochek within the slipstream, and then just pulling away straight away. No kind of messing about, no issues, no crashing. Martin has done a fantastic job, and really you have to say, Fizzy, with this being just one round to go apart from this one, it's been a champion's drive from Martin.
It really has. He had several drives similar to this in the early part of the season. It's kind of fallen away a little bit recently, but he's back to his absolute best this time. Martin, he managed to get a break right at the start, did so well, kept his head cool in the early part of the race and got that gap that he has never looked anyone close to losing since. I'm actually looking down in the midfield where Unleashed is really defending 6th place at the moment from Liebot, with Jason also very close behind. There also seems to be a battle for a last place. I'm just going to actually just jump down to that.
Actually, you probably want to have a look at P5, 6, 7 and 8, Fizzy, because they look pretty close on the minimap.
Yeah, with them actually at the moment. Jason closing on Leobot, who's closing on Unleashed, and yeah, with Pride surprisingly close ahead of them as well, because Pride was running such a good pace in the early part of the race, but he's gonna be in this group now as well. It's gonna be a four-way group with DRS on the final lap. But obviously most of the eyes will be on the championship battle, where Martin has the gap out in front, Matt, and Limitless not close enough to Evo.
Yeah, let's give these midfield runners a few bit of camera time. We've got Jason and a Toro Rosso. I'm not sure who that is at the moment. About to go side by side almost through Eau Rouge. But I think Jason just about, it's Leobot. Yeah, Jason just about getting out of the throttle there to enable there to be not a huge crash. And Jason in the slipstream now, but Leobot has DRS as well. And we come flying towards the end of the first sector. And Jason pretty much giving Leobot a tiny tap, saying, excuse me, I'm glad that we didn't explode each other in Eau Rouge. And, well, actually, no, it might have an overtake for P6 here, as I've actually Unleashed not going for it there as I was changing camera, so I didn't actually know what was happening. But Unleashed trying to get past Orbit Pride, who, well, I'm not sure why Orbit Pride has fallen off so much. He must have made some sort of mistake at some point, because he's got all of his front wings, so it's not that. Maybe he's just had a really poor last stint, but either way, I think we may well... Oh, actually, he's let Unleashed through, if anything, there. That
was weird, yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't have the straight line speed, so I'm not sure. Maybe Orbit Pride's run out of fuel, who knows? But
Matt, Martin's about to come and really put a marker down into the final round of the season.
Here we go. Martin weaving is... Oh, gosh, he's actually going onto the grass there on my screen. But Martin coming through the bus stop chicane for the final time. Not the cleanest way to do it.
It's starting to rain. Bit late.
It's starting to rain, but Martin's celebrating as he comes over the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix for this penultimate race of the season. A huge step towards his first AOR Championship. Unleashed, having a little bit of contact with Orbit Pride. I think Orbit Pride actually let him through so he could get the slipstream, but Unleashed is going to come home in P5. But I didn't actually see the other guys come across the line. But Martin, a huge statement, winning the Belgian Grand Prix. Absolutely fantastic drive from him there. And well, I mean, what else can you say? It was just perfect.
Yep, everything he could have asked for there for TRL Martin. Perfect race. From second place into the lead right at the start, get that win with no real pressure. Although, yeah, Evo and Lim is definitely closing the gap, probably partly because Martin was kind of messing about in front of the corners, celebrating that win. But Evo and Limitless joins him on the podium. Limitless dropping 10 points in the championship. Then Broshek gets fourth, Unleashed holding off Orbit Pride, Leobot, Jason right at the end. Foxside, K-Block rounding off the top 10, and then Rio Harianto in 11th. He not even starting the race because they disconnected after qualifying. But yeah, the big story, of course. Limitless, after such a great charge in recent races, now drops points. It's going to be a 16-point gap into the final rounds.
Yeah. Just falling short, unfortunately. Limitless this time. He can't really... I mean, I'm not sure if he had any controller issues, which he did say he was having, but also he performed so well last time out when he said he had controller issues as well. So we can't assume that, but you have to
say... Certainly not a distraction he would have needed.
No, it's something that you wouldn't want, but at the same time, he knew that he had issues last week. He could have easily got another controller for this one. They're not too expensive as far as I'm aware, the 360 controllers, but either way, that's not something that I can say for him to go and do. That's his decision. But it seems like, you know, Martin, what else can he do, really? He's just completely outperformed the rest of the field. He pulled away with such ease at the start of the race, and no one really had an answer. He was just messing about at the end. It said 3.3 seconds between him and second place, but it wasn't that. It was 6-7 seconds easy. So Martin, you know, he's done all he can. He's going to go into Brazil, which I guess Limitless, the only thing Limitless can take from that is Brazil is usually an absolute incredible race. You know, it's usually action-packed. It's cars so closely put together in terms of pacing, qualifying and the race. So it's going to be interesting to see how well Martin can qualify. Because if Martin puts himself, if he doesn't have a good qualifying, you know, maybe gets P6 or something at Brazil, maybe the gates will be a little bit open for Limitless to do something that Martin did today. But right now, Martin has to be the favourite, as 16 points, that is a huge amount going into the last race of the season.
Yeah, that is definitely... I don't know, do we call it a downer? It would have been interesting if the championship lead had gone down to 1 point for the final race, but still, it is still the closest championship fight we've had this late in the season, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's going to be down to Interlagos, limitless now, depending on Martin to finish below 5th. And he has done that on a few occasions this season, when he's been caught in difficult positions. Actually, he's only finished below 5th twice this season, which was in Monaco, which is obviously a bit of a weird race, different to every other place. And then India, of course, when he had an incident with Brochek when battling for the lead. So yeah, limitless now really needs something like that to happen to Martin here. But you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. A lot of other drivers that can, like we've seen in this race, just get in the mix and take points from them. So if Limitless has a great day, then you never know, Martin might suddenly drop a few positions.
Yeah, never say never, especially around Brazil. As I said, they're going to be so closely packed that 16 points can easily be eradicated, and we've seen in real life that not every time there's been a champion that's been the favourite going into the race. But either way, guys, thank you very much for watching round 17 of this AOR F1 2013 league. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate today. I think it's probably been a pretty good race, and I've enjoyed commentating it. And unfortunately, we won't have as close a battle going into the final race of the season as we may have liked, but it is still up for grabs nevertheless. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. I've been xMattyG and FizzyFan91 alongside me.
Yep, great race, and looking forward to the final race, where, as you mentioned, championship's still not decided, even though it's looking very good for Martin.
Indeed. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time for either a video or the Twitch stream next Sunday for the final race of the season. Thank you very much, guys, and goodbye.
Yep. Thank you, guys. See you next time.